Get here. After doing my video on the Returns duology, I didn't think I'd be talking about Donkey Kong again just mere months later. Of course I relished the thought. At the end of that video I wanted to say something like we'd have our gorilla back faster than you can make a peanut butter and banana sandwich. But I'm no prophet. I thought Returns HD was gonna be it for at least half a decade. But then came the Switch 2 Direct in April 2025, and closing us out was Donkey Kong Bananza. My brother and I didn't see it coming, so take a wild guess as to how we reacted. I've waited for a new Donkey Kong for far too long, while at the same time, not very long at all. Bananza was announced 3 months before release, and I kinda wish the hype cycle was a bit longer. Partly for more fun speculation, but mainly for my wallet. My brother and I wouldn't have nabbed a Switch 2 when we did if not for DK. And you know what? For the first few months of ownership, this ain't the Switch 2, it's the Bananza machine. Though the game and amiibo were gifted to me by my buddy Microphone. Love ya! Mwah, 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 mwah. With all that, plus July 2025 bringing several challenges that put my mental state to the test, I didn't just want Bananza, I needed Bananza. I needed it to knock my socks off. Not only did it do that, it might be one of the best games I've ever played. Now for those who haven't played it, there will be mild spoilers throughout in terms of gameplay mechanics and Easter eggs, but I'll put another warning for story-related stuff as I go along. Kicking things off, we find ourselves on Ingot Isle, where DK and crew are out to find some golden bananas called Banandium gems in a gold rush like no other. Gotta say, I love this setup. DK in the thick of a mining expedition, far off the shores of DK Island. Nice change up from the typical Kong's chilling at home and the balance is disturbed plot. But it's still in line with DK's world. Aside from jungles, the mines are probably the series' most memorable setting. Thinking of those renders of DK with a miner's helmet has come full circle.
I was down in the bloody mines for 14 hours today!
But then these dudes called Voidco's show up and steal the goods, equipped with the greatest boulder ever known. Caught up in a vortex, it sucks up Ingot Isle and plunges them all down 1,000 feet below to the land of the law. But that's when DK finds a rock called Odd Rock, who's actually a girl named Pauline, an aspiring singer who wants to go home to the surface. The two now have a goal of reaching the planet core, where they'll have their greatest wishes granted by the Banandium root. Pauline going home, DK endless bananas. All the while foiling Voidco's evil plans. So Bananza was developed by, well, technically 3 studios. We got 2 support teams in Tri-Crescendo and 1UP Studio, the latter formerly known as Brownie Brown. But this was mainly done by Nintendo's EPD Tokyo crew, who partially spun off from EAD Tokyo, with their debut title being Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. I always wanted to see this group take another crack at DK, and it looks like the Banandium root granted my wish, the little eavesdropper. Even some Jungle Beat team members worked on this. Of that game's 25 core devs, 9 of them also worked on Bananza. 10 if you count Yoshiaki Koizumi laying down the law and saying, make a 3D DK if you know what's good for ya, which is similar to what Miyamoto told him to kickstart Jungle Beat. Any Jungle Beat references are pretty sparse here, sadly. Bananza forms do that music time to action thing I've heard in Jungle Beat and Mario Odyssey, but I don't know if that counts. Probably the most overt reference is the Kong Elder apparently sharing a voice actor with Ninja Kong, so that's cool. While I was happy seeing this team go back to their roots, I was curious how this game would feel. Since Jungle Beat, they've mainly put out 3D Marios, with Odyssey being their last big game. So the question was if they knew what set DK apart from old Plumber Boy. And while the Odyssey influence is strong here on a surface level, you don't have to dig deep to see Bananza's a whole different beast. The freedom in how you want to get around is ridiculous, a real one-up from Odyssey. Climbing on surfaces, punching through terrain, using your feet to climb when your hands are full. You fall somewhere in Mario, you're dreading the trek back up, but most times in Bananza you'll go, oh wait, I could just climb back up in a second. Yeah, eat it, Mario! This sense of freedom was made clear to me when hanging on grates, which feels pretty great itself. Reminds me of the mechanic in Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3, and by extension, how bad it was in Wrath of Cortex. Here though, you move fast, you can attack, you can roll, and if you're low on Bananergy, you can ham-bone with your feet and still do your thing. I love this so much. Weirdly, the one thing you can't do is swim underwater. When did DK get gun-shy about going in the drink? Thinking about it more though, maybe it's asking too much to swim and destroy stuff simultaneously. That sounds like something they'd try in a sequel. But another part of me thinks they did it just so Mario still had something going for him. For collectibles, Banandium gems are like Odyssey's moons, and as someone who 100%ed Odyssey, I was still more driven to find bananas. Not only did DK's moveset just make it fun to look for stuff, nabbing 5 gems earns you skill points, making you bigger, faster, and stronger too. Before ending a play session, if I had 4 bananas stocked up, I would always try to find one more. DK's moveset is pretty vast as is though, and some moves I almost never used till they were mandatory. A few I even forgot about until doing them by accident, but I'm glad they're there. This game has outright spoiled me in terms of platform traversing now. With so much free reign, I went off the main path a lot, exploring at my own pace before getting back to the story, sometimes for hours. I missed quite a bit on my first go too. The first time I saw Cranky was in the canyon lair, but I did look for him in the lagoon world, yet only finding Rambi by himself, so yeah. And for as much as I love smashing stuff, the worlds are so beautifully crafted and rest areas have little villages and shops. The terrain can be reset in a flash, but I tried not breaking stuff if I could help it. Sometimes I just took in the sights like in the resort lair. I spent half an hour here not even looking for gems, just eating big fruit and flying around. At one point I started whistling, and the next thing I knew, birds came flocking to hear my tune. Just one after another, and I thought maybe I'd get something out of it. But it was just a nice moment with my little bird friends, and sometimes that's all you need. Bananza's the kind of game where I spent every waking moment playing it. One session had me going till 2 AM. Yeah, I know, right? Ooh, big boy. But that's how I know something's got a hold on me. I even got a lot of mileage out of DK Artist in photo mode. I hardly ever invest in side modes like these, but darn it, my love for art was very satisfied.
Bananas are a good source of potassium.
Side note, DK Artist marks the 3rd time the DKC1 map and bonus themes have been paired together, and the first time outside of Smash Brothers. Why does this keep happening? Something else that's cool, post-game you can replay the prologue through a flashback. Normally it's locked off due to the following cave-in, but I like going back to where the adventure started if I can. It's only a 3-minute sequence, but you know, I still appreciate it. And check that out, New Donk City in the distance. I love when games do that too. You also have these bonus stages for a change of pace. Originally, I wasn't crazy about these, but they soon grew on me. A good way to brush up on your moves, and they get so creative with the mechanics, I was approvingly nodding my head as I played through them. Anything to do with these Dippin' Dots or switcheroo goo was always fun. Very Mario Galaxy-esque. They're also kinda built like a DKC level, especially with those hidden bananas. I'd scour the place looking for them, and if I left a stage without a full set, I'd go right back in. These stages also have some of my favorite songs in the game, Challenge Course 2 being among the best. It reminds me of a laid-back DKC track, something from a cool GameCube tech demo or failed add-on, the WB logo from the credits of a Fresh Prince episode. It's just bumpin'. The nostalgia courses though, I was dying to check these out. The second I got into nostalgia country, I didn't want to leave. They totally nailed the classic country look. Those plasticky trees, the treehouse, with some spiffy silverware I see. But what really had me geek out were these wooden signs. Playing DKC as a 5-year-old, I'd see the arrow and get a rush of confidence, knowing I was close to beating a level. And the exit sign just has a nice simple charm to it. I didn't think anyone cared that much about the little things like this. It's enough to make you cry. Not only that, but the song remixes are super faithful, the stages play how you think they would, with secrets hidden in just the right places. They really did their homework. Sadly, DKC3 doesn't get any course of its own, but it does get some love elsewhere, so I'll let it slide. Getting to the game's namesake, the Bananza forums steal the show. Right out the gate, Kong Bananza's such a rush. Never thought DK would one day look like 4th gear Luffy, but I'm all for it. Straw Hat's got nothing on this Kong gun. Punching through the ground never got old, and neither did blasting crocoids to Honeycomb. If they go off a cliff, they don't instantly despawn. They just keep going till they're out of sight, and that is the funniest thing ever to me. All the while, Pauline's singing her little heart out, and I saw a theory about Bananza lyrics being gibberish cause we're hearing it from DK's perspective. He doesn't know what she's saying, but likes how it sounds, and picks up a few words like zebra and ostrich. I bet the reason behind that choice was the devs going, man, translating these songs into 10 languages sounds like a pain. Let's have her spout nonsense, we can get away with that. Calling it now, a squeaky clean Nintendo interview will tell ya, oh, we wanted the player to interpret the lyrics themselves, it's more fun that way. And to be fair, there's a great Kong Bananza lyrics video from my good man Just Andre. It reminds me of the old Smash Bros. Brawl misheard lyrics video, and it's my new headcanon for the song. Roll a teeny teen across the earth, indeed. The other Bananza forums are all super fun, and using them to get gems from earlier in the game, it kinda breaks things in half, but it's cool they let you do that. Sometimes I'd restrain myself, other times I wouldn't give the slightest. It doesn't matter how you do things as long as you're having fun. Ranking the forms by overall usefulness, zebra's at the bottom, then snake, ostrich, Kong, and elephant. Like, it's not even a contest with elephant. Searching for goodies is a breeze and it works wonders in bonus rooms and bosses. No matter what form you rock though, they've all got awesome themes and awesome poses, and if you don't strike a pose alongside them, you're either lying or you've got no soul. Pauline's snake pose is adorable, and Ostrich has my favorites for being equal parts goofy and terrifying. I mentioned how Bananza respects the Donkey Kong series, but there were other bits of fan service that really took me by surprise. I was itching to see Diddy and Dixie, who are a safe bet for modern day Kong rep, but finally getting to the racing layer, it was sensory overload. They talk about saving DK in the past, Candy Kong gets mentioned for the first time ever, implying double dates too, that's cute. They got their idol animations from DKC2, like come on now, you're way too kind with that. Then we get to Rambi Rumble with a remix of Rambi's DK64 theme. One of my favorite tracks from 64, but it was never on my official remix bingo card. It's a great remix too, no notes, I was stomping all over the place after hearing it. Mission accomplished. This mode's also the closest thing we have to a real Donkey Kong racing, and after getting the hang of it, it was the stuff of dreams. Riding alongside Diddy and Dixie, who act like a genuine couple, running on rainbows and flying through the sky, literally the stuff of dreams. I even got behind Bananza's arcade era callbacks. I of course have a deep appreciation for the series' origins, but half the time an arcade reference showed up in returns I said, get that out of here, where's Perry? But Bananza pays tribute to every era in a way that feels organic. DK's victory dance has him hopping like his grandpa and celebrating like it's late 1994. I love it! For other callbacks, I love the fossils, but they kinda put me in a crisis when I first saw them, especially the ones based on the animal buddies. They don't have their names, but it made me think the reason we've only seen Rambi and Squawk since 2010 is because everyone else is dead. Heck, not even Professor Chop survived the purge, like you didn't have to make his text read like a eulogy. All these rhinos in the racing layer put me at ease, but also raised another question. There's multiple named Expressos in DKC2 on Game Boy Advance, but these guys are just called Rambis. Is this a Yoshi situation, or is Rambi the name of a rhino subspecies? In other games, we've seen multiple parrots, seals, squirrels. Donkey Kong Racing would have had all kinds of rhinos and swordfish. It's just the naming scheme that's weird, but we'll get through this somehow. Yes, I will think about this and a bunch of other things too deeply. Don't tell me how to have fun! All the new additions to Donkey Kong's world are great too. The NPCs are a joy. From teleporter eels to prospector monkeys, they're just rays of sunshine. This is the first game I've seen where instead of attacking NPCs, you can high-five them. What a game changer. No, really, if they're wearing clothes, it changes them up and they're usually cool with it. And I didn't know about this until the post-game, but you can high-five all day long. It looks so dumb, but again, I'm glad they let me do this. Character dialogue is great too, something I really missed from Donkey Kong's Rare era. In general, the writing's very much like a classic Rare game. Great jokes and wordplay, very self-aware, and sometimes breaks the fourth wall to insult ya. Often dialogue changes in real time given the state of a level. These salvager monkeys are having a fishing competition but destroy their boat, they're like, now it's a swimming competition. That blew my mind. Everyone involved with the writing and localization deserves a huge pat on the back. Or a never-ending high five, whatever you want. Now, am I really gonna say without a shred of irony, these rocks with eyes are some of the best platformer NPCs I've ever interacted with? Yeah, actually. The Fractones are ridiculously charming and beaming with personality. My day's made immensely better when they're on screen. I knew I got attached when I punched one and went, oh no, oh geez, I'm so sorry, I wanted to give you 5, not 5 across. But not even that bothers them. They take a licking and keep on ticking. I got more love for them than I ever did for Mildred Ice Cube. I love how they speak in rhyme, though sometimes only when they're feeling zesty, how they dance in place, with some dancing faster when you transform, their musical little voices. The photo mode has these Fractone eyes, and instead of the usual camera sounds that play here, the eyes do this. Ah, that's the stuff I live for. There's also these fragment tones missing chunks out of them, and I thought, oh great, a fetch quest. But then I saw these little things, and I went full mama bear, primed to lay down my life for them. They cry and make little noises, and seeing the poor things trip, I let out a genuine gasp of concern. I never leave them hanging, even on a revisit. Seriously, I could talk about the Fractones all day. If they made merch, I would be all over that. For animal NPCs, my favorites are the posh ostriches, who I like to call postrages. You need at least a hint of class in your voice when reading their dialogue. The elephants mesmerized me the first time, cause I had to stop a session just as I got to the Tempest Lair. And seeing just one of them, I spent the rest of the day thinking about what awaited me. Like, Taj the Genie could show up, I didn't know! Bananza gets the lore juices flowing, most canonically with these stone slates, which, hi, One Piece fan here, I instantly compared them to the poneglyphs, but I read every one I came across, sometimes putting myself in harm's way to do so. My favorites were the journal entries from Exploratone, which document their journey downward and learning of the Fractone's origins. It's like I was reading snippets from an adventure novel. Bananza crafted an intricate world filled with culture and mystique, and made me genuinely care about it. I've even got theories on stuff not spelled out, which this slate straight up tells you some mysteries are better left unsolved. That's a sublayer for the mind. Now, I gotta give some love to the villains too. It's great having new Kongs who are just as developed as what Rare made, if not more so. Voidco reminds me of anime trios like Team Rocket or the Pilaf Gang if they were competent, or just a rowdy group of Hanna-Barbera miscreants. Even though their boss fights weren't tough at all, I was always happy to see them, Grumpy Kong especially. His dedication to his work and drive to get better, I genuinely wanted to see him best me. He had my respect. Poppy's far too good to be working under, well, anybody really, and Void, he's just a lovely little gremlin. The kind of bad guy who plasters his brand of evil throughout the world and always one step ahead, making it all the sweeter when you knock him down a peg. And of course, DK and Pauline are a great duo. They got the energy of a dorky dad and his little princess and are too darn cute together. If you're a sap like me, their story's gonna be right up your alley. It's full of heartwarming moments and just a smidge of child peril for good measure. The implications of who this Pauline is specifically, they drive me a bit nuts, but you know what? If she wasn't such a great character, I'd be more upset. I always looked forward to this victory dance she and DK did, and I love the detail of her being shy the first time, but afterwards she's all smiles and having a blast. I had her in the diva dress just so I could see her dance in it too, because again, I'm a sap. Speaking of aesthetics, I didn't talk much about Donkey Kong's redesign when it first dropped, but I think he looks great. Some said this was rare erasure and that it's totally different from before, but that was such a stretch. It's just the rare look with a few tweaks. Even for the Mario movie, when they showed him off, Miyamoto was like, "We changed him for the first time since DKC." But I thought, he looks like DK to me, what's the big deal? Granted, this is his most radical change-up ever, but he's still my guy, and so much more. I love how wild some of his expressions get. This is a DK who wants to have fun, but he's also a kind-hearted soul. Not that he wasn't before, but the new look shows those qualities off very well. Time will tell if this becomes my favorite DK design, but it might be my favorite take on the Big Ape. I also didn't think I'd be customizing his fur and clothing much, cause, you know, why toy with perfection? But it was fun to mix and match. For someone who's butt naked most of the time, he knows how to accessorize, and it sure makes up for his lack of costumes in Mario spin-offs. But if you want to go nude, that's fine too. Like the game says, nothing to be ashamed of. DK's also got a new voice, Koji Takeda, who previously voiced him in the Mario movie's Japanese dub and Mario Kart World. First things first, he plays a phenomenal DK here, but man, I'm gonna miss Takashi Nagasako, who voiced him for the 2 decades prior to Bananza. Takeda's DK is basically aping Nagasako's take. Heck, I thought it was Nagasako when I first heard it. But then I thought, wait a sec, Nintendo did this before with Mario Wonder, I'm onto them. We may never know the full story if it's any deeper than just, yeah, you're gone. But in terms of Nintendo VA send-offs, Charles Martinet got the movie, kinda. Samantha Kelly got Princess Peach Showtime, but Nagasako got nothing for DK. In fact, the only time he got proper credit as DK was in Punch-Out Wii. All other times he was lumped in under character voices, whereas Takeda got top billing in Bananza. Nagasako is here as Cranky via stock audio, which I hope they're not thinking / saying he's too old to play DK, but a grizzled prune's fair game with voice clips he did in his 40s. He alongside Diddy and Dixie's actors also go uncredited, which is a first. I wouldn't be shocked if the latter two got canned in the future. This is a discussion for another day, but I wanted to bring it up here cause honestly, it's the only big issue I have with the game. Some others think the bosses are a low point, and I get that. Up until the end, they're hardly a threat, even without Bananza powers. Poppy might be a businesswoman, but she hardly deserved the business I gave her. One that did give me trouble was Muckety Muck, which is the most Splatoon looking out of all these Splatoon looking goons, and makes noises straight out of a gross out Nicktoon. Jeez, I haven't heard that sound in ages. Regardless of challenge, they were still visual spectacles, which this team historically does with their bosses. If they don't leave a literal impression, they'll probably leave an impact in your mind.
My mind!
On that note, I think that's a good segue to talk about the finale, so if you want my final thoughts on Bananza without being spoiled, I had a blast, it's fantastic. If you've got a Switch 2, you need to play this thing. After you have, come on back and watch the rest of this video, but I am spoiling this finale rotten. As the game reached its end, I started to feel this sense of dread. These fractones telling me to turn back unless I pay them off, the foreboding music, someone getting trapped down here before me, what was I getting into? That's when Void shows up again to give me a genuinely tough boss fight. After which he turns DK into Odd Kong, Pauline goes Super Saiyan and saves DK. Seems like everything's hunky-dory. And if you're still watching and you haven't played this far, seriously, get out of here! As Void gets back up and makes a mad dash for the Banandium route, well, nothing could have prepared me for what happened next. That's right, folks, the greatest upset in the history of the sport, King K. Rool makes his grand return. Now, let's not undermine his first grand return in Smash Bros. Ultimate. That was not for nothing. But to see him again in his own series after almost 20 years, that's a whole different feeling. I love when a story pulls off a genuinely shocking reveal, only for you to realize it was dangling in front of your face the whole time. Makes for an interesting revisit knowing you got played good. Still, from the time you see a Crockoid, they put the thought of K. Rool in your head, but they fully commit to Voidco, so I didn't think about him actively. At least until we got to the route and I thought, I've got a gut feeling I've seen this somewhere, a golden gut feeling even. And there's posters of it throughout the game, sans navel, so I'm not crazy. By the way, I'm glad Void got to be his own character. No K. Rool in disguise, I was the Kong all along shtick. And we got the best of both worlds, a new addition to DK's Rogues Gallery, and the return of his arch nemesis. And what a return to form! Not only is his look pitch perfect, right down to his non-stubby tail, they give a reason for his absence! He was the one who got trapped down here! I should've known, he's the only guy more bananas for bananas than DK. And liking rotten mushy ones is such a good detail, I can't believe it hasn't been done before now. After all that, I was riding high, but they hadn't even played their best hand yet. Now the Crockoids are critters with their death sound from DKC2? Like, I made those noises when I killed Crockoids as a joke! And oh my god, Buzzoids turned into zingers with their Country 2 death noise! Though, I think the one from the first game's better, but whatever. Then there's Necky's Skyway, like, what? Neckies? And they got their sounds too? Then there's Kabooms, Claptraps, armies! I'm gonna pass out just relaying this. If there was still doubt these devs weren't Donkey Kong fans, this final stretch shot those doubts into the sun. Some of you might be thinking, well, yeah, game series reference their past, that's pretty standard. But if you don't know, DK's weird in that since Returns, it's very particular about what's referenced, not for legal reasons or Nintendo hating Rare's work, that's all nonsense. Those who thought Rare owned the Kremlings actively ignored Peon's games or thought Strikers as goalies were malnourished Yoshis, but anyway, callback-wise, DK fans got discarded banana peels and coconut shells, which we totally ate up. But it's been ages since a DK game spoiled us like this. If it stopped at the Naughty Fossil and the maps with the Northern Cremisphere on them, I'd talk about those till the Rare cows came home. After years of the series seemingly being afraid to reference itself past the bare essentials, seeing all of it embraced and celebrated, no holds barred, it's therapeutic. If it didn't do that, I would have lived, but since it did, I can die happy. And don't even get me started on that DK Island DLC. Just when I thought this script was all done, they blindside me and make me add more to it. The island's got its old Rare look, the treehouse has the Returns era design, Squawks is here! Diddy's straight up quoting himself from the cartoon! We are living in some crazy times as DK fans, I'll tell ya. But back to that final stretch, it's great having one last gauntlet to get you pumped for the final showdown. Also making me think Exploratone died, which genuinely upset me, but nah, they're just chillin', they got a happy ending. Whew. Anyway, that showdown, it's one of the coolest finales I've seen in a game. No doubt the best Donkey Kong's ever had, and an all-timer for Nintendo. A 3-layer spectacle with everything I could have asked for, so excuse me for gushing here. When K. Rool first went down, I knew we weren't done cause he's all about the fake-outs, but they put all past fake-outs to shame. We got a fake logo, fake credits, he's got the K. Roolenstein propeller pack, Gangplank Galleon kicks in as you're shooting to the surface. I thought it would wrap up here, but nuh-uh. Then you get sent to New Donk City, which gets all cremified, complete with the Statue of Lizardy. You make a mad dash to City Hall and every Bananza form gets the spotlight here, with the BGM vocals changing in real time with your current form. Then you step into the ring with the king for round 2. Oh, the light fixtures, the ring text, this monstrosity. This is the wildest fanfiction come to life. I've had dreams like this, and I'm still not fully convinced I'm awake right now. You take 'em out Team Rocket style, we get a tearful goodbye with DK and Pauline, and those crazy suckers, the final shot in the game was seen in the first trailer. I was wondering where it was gonna show up, but putting it at the very end with the real logo slamming in, oh, I couldn't have fist pumped any harder. Absolute perfection. Some are wondering what's next for DK after this, but I'm still wrapping my head around what we got right now. I'd say the future's looking bright, but again, I'm not a prophet. What I can tell you is, we got Bananza. We got Bananza! Was it worth getting a Switch 2 for? For me, yes, 1,000 times yes. As I shot up to the surface in the final battle, I said out loud, "This is the best game I've ever played." Recency bias or not, every game worth their salt wants to get that feeling out of you, and it was well deserved here. And it's not just the finale that made me feel this way. There's other stuff like the fossils you collect being archived in a museum, or a rave in the groove layer post-game. And every song from your disc collection gets a groove tone filter added to it. Like, are you kidding me? This is another place I never wanted to leave. It's like Rock Solid from Conquer, just a lot more wholesome.
Do the monkey with me. Come on.
I did this a month after beating the game, and again I said, this is the best game ever. Bananza just made me so happy. It's one thing for a game to be fun, but to have it touch your soul the way Bananza does for me, that qualifies it for all-timer status. I won't say it's my favorite game ever just yet, but it's definitely in the top 10. Top 5 even. The only thing that kills me is never being able to play it for the first time ever again, but that makes the adventure I had all the more special. Games like these don't come around often, and for Donkey Kong to get his own Mario Odyssey / Breath of the Wild moment, crafted in a way that felt tailor-made for me and like-minded DK fans, I never thought I'd see the day, but to paraphrase the Breaking Through song, my heart was pounding in hopes this day would come. Let's hope more good times are ahead for the big guy, but for now, and really forevermore, I'm gonna bask in the beauty of Donkey Kong Bananza. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you saw, feel free to give this video a like, share with a friend, subscribe, check out my social media pages, my Patreon page where you can see videos like this before they go live, all that stuff I always go on about. Speaking of the Patreon, I'd like to give a shout out today to Lars Niswant and Munchie598 for their support. It really does mean more than you know. Thanks so much, guys. And tell me, if you've played Donkey Kong Bananza, how do you feel about it? What's your favorite layer, your favorite callback? How does it stack in your list of favorite Donkey Kong games? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to read them. And while you're here, feel free to check out the videos I got on screen. I enjoyed making them. Hopefully you'll enjoy watching them. And with all that said, I'll see you guys next time. Later!